What's happening, Cucumber Squad, and welcome back to the Fable Sphere. Right, as you know, before we even get started, link to my website is down below. Go and join the Fable Sphere. Super simple, it's super easy, and it is free. It's completely free to do it, and you can come and engage with me on my group, Cucumber Squad, or anybody else's group. There's the Northern Lights group, there's the Words group. Just go, you can join all the groups, and you can have interactions with everybody, and there's about 100 people there, which is absolutely awesome and growing. So go and do that. I don't engage with anybody on social media anymore. That's where I'm at. Anyway, Everlast, another skip the line reaction by Tom Bredesen. I really appreciate that. Thank you once again for the support. This is the third week in a row. I'm actually really happy that people are willing to support the channel and do these things in the weekend. I think that really works quite well, where I can do the normal reactions during the week and skip the lines over the weekend. Really works quite well. Anyway, Everlast, what it's like. Okay, I've never heard of this ever. I feel like I know Everlast. I feel like I know this band. I think it's a band, but I feel like I've heard them before, but I haven't ever reacted to them. I don't have them on my playlist. Never had them on my playlist. I just think I know the name, but I don't know. I've never heard what it's like. So let's see what we got. Let's go. Hey. Acoustic guitar. No instrument beats it. No instrument. I'm telling you now. I'm teaching you something.
We've all seen the man at the liquor store begging for your change.
Hey.
The hair on his face is dirty, dreadlocked in for the main. He asked a man for what he could spare with shame in his eyes. Get a job, you fucking slobs, all he replied. God forbid you ever had to walk a mile in his shoes. Cause then you really might know what it's like to sing the blues. Then you really might know what it's like.
Okay, I like where this is going, okay? So I like the fact that he says, it's a natural thing that human beings do a lot of the time, where you see a bum, a person that's, doesn't have money, homeless on the streets, and he asks you for a bit of change. It actually kills me that, you'll get people like, don't give them money because all they're going to do is go and buy drugs. All they're going to do is do this. It's like, you don't even know this person. You don't know this person for a bar or so. You've never lived his life. You've never walked a mile in his shoes. You know nothing. At least be honest with yourself and be honest with people. When you say, if you don't want to give something, then just say, no, I'm not willing to give him money. I'm not willing to give him my money. At least that's honest. But to justify it of like, oh no, I'm not going to give him money because this is what he's going to do with this money. You're going to actually speculate. You're going to assume that this is what this man is going to go and do with that money. Right? If you're willing to give the money to that person, what he does with his money, even what he does with the money you give him, even if it is to buy drugs, holds no bearing in the conversation. Right? It's got nothing to do with you. Either if you want to give it, give it. If you don't want to give it, don't give it. And that's where it does. That's where it should end. But to say I'm not giving it because I'm doing him a nicety, I'm actually helping him by not giving him money. Because I know what he's going to do with money, even though you don't know what he's going to go do with the money, right? But for you to say that I'm helping him by not giving him the money, it's just bullshit. You've never walked a day in his shoes. You don't know what it's like. You don't know why he's there. You don't know what's happened in his life. And for you sitting there and judge, and it's all just for your own personal virtuous sort of adulation that you're trying to make yourself feel better about, oh no, I'm not going to give him the money and I'm doing him a deed by doing that. And you also don't have to give him money. If you feel that, okay, well, if money is something that you don't want to give, you don't have to give them money. At the end of the day, you can stop at a robot, you'll see homeless people at a robot. And what will it take you, even if you don't have money, what will it take you? I've said this before in one of my other reactions. What will it take you, right, to change someone's life for even 2 minutes? On a winter's day, you see a homeless person on the side of the street, right, cold, asking for money. And listen, bud, I don't have any money for you, man, but jump in the back of my car, jump in the back seat, man, and at least until that robot turns red, at least get some warmth. At least, warm yourself up. At least get 2 minutes of warmth. I mean, when the robot turns red, I've got to go. You're going to have to jump out and go. But at least get some warmth, right? Sit here, warm your hands up. My car's nice and warm. So get some warmth for 2 minutes and then go out. Who is he going to remember? The thousands of people that throw him a dime? Or the one person that took their time and said, hey bud, hop in the back of my car. Let me at least give you 2 minutes of warmth. Who do you think he's going to remember? What sort of impact do you think, right, that makes in comparison to just throwing him a dime? For him as a person, what sort of impact? To show him that he actually matters than me to just throw a dime that means nothing to me because he means nothing to me. Here's a fucking dime. Here, please go away. You know what I mean? To show that he actually means something to someone, if not for just 2 minutes. You don't know what people go through. And if you don't want to give something to somebody, be honest and just say, I don't want to give it. Because of myself. I'm selfish. I don't want to give it. And that's fine. That's okay. I can accept that. But I can't accept the justification of like, I'm not giving because I know what he's going to do. No, you fucking don't.
It's life. Then you really might know what it's like. Then you really might know what it's like. Mary got pregnant from a kid named Tom. Said he was in love. Said don't worry about a thing, baby doll. I'm the man you've been dreaming of. But 3 months later he said he won't date or return her call. And she swear goddamn if I find that man cutting off his balls. And then she heads for the clinic and she gets some static walking through the door. They call her a killer and they call her a sinner and they call her a whore. God forbid you ever had to walk.
I think he's actually talking about the abortion aspect over here. He's obviously got, these are two different stories so far, so I can see what he's doing over here. He's painting different stories of different people's lives and what they've got to go through, because you don't know what it's like, essentially. I love that he's actually doing that, because it is. People don't know how it's like. People don't know how, what sort of situations that they find themselves in, and they don't know that even in a situation of, like, let's say abortion, this person, I don't agree with abortion, I never will agree with abortion, I'm 100% a pro-lifer, all right? I don't care what you are, that's my position, right? A lot of people have tried to argue with me, you're never going to change my mind on it, right? And the reason I'm on that avenue is I think we're dealing with a society that's super, super, super negligent and prefers to not hold accountability for the actions. And it's not to say that it's absolutely every single person, it's not to say again, it's not to judge those sort of situations, but I do feel that when you've got a society where the numbers are 1 million babies are being aborted out of convenience because you're dealing with a society that's negligent, and then 1,000 babies that get aborted because of deformalities or rape or things like that, the disparity in the numbers are so damn large, right? And it's like, why aren't we having two conversations? Why aren't we having the abortion conversation with, okay, like, why aren't we educating people to be more responsible with their sexual activities, right? Because that is the majority of the abortions come from that. We should be teaching people to be more responsible with their sexual activities, specifically in a time where you've got contraceptives pre, during, and post-sex, right? It's just like, I've got a major issue with it. Massive major issue with it, specifically on the education front of it. I think people should be educated to be more responsible so that you don't have to have those kind of things inflicted on what could be what would be potential babies, right? And the people getting the abortions, which that psychologically screws them up as well. I just think that society needs to be more responsible. So that's my own position on that kind of thing, right? I can't judge. Every single person's situation is obviously different, right? But in this sort of circumstance, and it's completely my own viewpoint, and it's completely my own belief that I hold in this, my own viewpoint is that obviously I can't judge other people and what other people have to go through, but in my situation, I would never do that. And I would rather teach my children and my children's children, my children's children, my children's children, right? And pass that education on, that it is more important to be responsible with your sexual activities than to just be willy-nilly about them and then opt out for the easier route because you can't deal with the consequences. That's my personal opinion. Whether you agree with them or you don't bother arguing with me. You're never going to change my mind, right? But you can have your own opinion. I'll respect that.
Walk a mile in a shoe. Say you really might know what it's like to have to choose.
And I don't.
Then you really might know what it's like. Then you really might know what it's like.
I agree. You don't know what it's like. I don't know what it's like for that, and I can only imagine it's unbelievably hard to go out and make that decision because this person knows that they're not going to be able to provide for the baby. But you can also give it up for adoption. There are a lot of other routes out of this as well. So no, I can't tell you that I don't know what it's like. But what I do know is that we can educate people to be more responsible, that they're not in these kind of situations, right? We can, and this is also like a situation that's a bit removed from the general, essentially, but it's just, again, I've said what I've had to say about this topic. I've had many arguments about it. You're never going to change my mind on it.
Then you really might know what it's like. Then you really might know what it's like. Rich man beg, I seen a good man sin, I seen a tough man cry. I seen a loser win and a sad man grin, I heard an honest man lie. I seen the good side of bad and the downside of up and everything between. I licked the silver spoon, drank from the golden cup and smoked the finest green.
Hey, I lost
the baddest dimes these couple of times before I broke they heart. You know where it ends, yo, it usually depends on where you start.
I like that line. You don't know where it ends, but it depends on where you start, right? So that's a super, super important line, specifically to furthermore reinforce my point in terms of the beginning. Education is super, super important. Knowledge is super, super important. Responsibility and accountability is an important trait, important values to teach humanity. It's what guides them, it's what molds them, it's what keeps them in check, it's what keeps the world in order. You cannot live in this world, you cannot live a happy life when your world is in turmoil and you've taken away all barriers because you just want to live however you want to live, right? Because then your purpose dies with it. Purpose comes with responsibility, accountability, and an obligation to yourself, to your family, to humanity, to what comes next, to who comes next. There's an obligation. And if you don't want those obligations in life and you just want to live free, you're not going to be happy. And it's not how we are designed as human beings. We are here for a purpose. Limitations and responsibilities and accountabilities give us meaning.
Max used to get fat stacks out on the corner with drugs.
Hey,
he liked to hang out late, he liked to get shit-faced to keep the pace with thugs. Until late one night there was a big gunfight and Max lost his head. He pulled out his chrome 45, talked some shit and wound up dead. Now his wife and his kids are caught in the midst of all of his pain. You know it crumbles that way, at least that's what they say when you play the game. God forbid you ever had to wake up to hear the news. Then you really might know what it's like to have to lose. Then you really might know what it's like.
Yeah, okay, I get that. I get that he's painting that, but I'm like, also, you don't want to really be putting yourself in a situation where you're going to get yourself killed. Right? Why put yourself in these harmful situations where you know that your life's going to end? It's like, well, you got to know what it's like, man. This guy he was angry, man. Like, it's like, I get it. Like, I'm not in your shoes, but like every single human being on earth has had to go through some sort of strife and some sort of struggle in their lives, right? For them to go and act in a violent manner and then get popped and die, it's like, yeah, I don't know what it's like, because you probably shouldn't have done that if you valued your life. And I was like, I agree. I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it's like for you in going in your sort of situation, but you're not the only one going through that situation, right? At the end of the day, like, you're not the only one. I've gone through my own strifes. I've gone through my own angers. I've gone through my own turmoil, right? And never had to take it out on somebody in a violent manner. And therefore, I didn't get shot either. There was no violence inflicted on me neither. So yeah, I think to a certain degree, like, I get the concept of the song. I just feel that the examples that he's using over here they're a little weak for me. I must be honest. Like, the homeless guy, I like that example, because, you know, that is something like you don't know their life and things like that. The abortion girl, I can understand it from a moral standpoint. I don't have to agree with it, but I can understand portion of it. This last one, I don't agree with it at all. Like, so a lot of people go through strife at the end of the day. I think people also, they don't want harm inflicted on them. You know, a lesson that they'll learn, and hopefully not a lesson that they'll learn by dying, but a lesson that they'll have to learn is that in society, there's a way to channel that. And you learn through that.
Then you really might know what it's like. Then you really might know what it's like. Then you really might know what it's like to have to lose.
Yeah, so I mean, I like the song. I just think it's like, then you'll really know what it's like to have to lose, right? I actually think that the majority of humanity, right, aside from like very wealthy people and like, let's call it middle class, but the majority of the world are not rich and they are not middle class either. Actually, the majority of the world is poor, right? I think the majority of the world knows what it's like to lose. I don't think it's on the exact same examples, maybe not in the exact same ways, but in every single person's life, they've lost something, right? So they know what it feels like to lose something valuable. They know what it feels like to lose your mind. They know what it feels like, you know, to go through some sort of strife, essentially. So I like the concept of the song, essentially. I think the examples were a little weaker, were a little weak. But I like the idea of where he's saying it's like, don't judge. Right? But as human beings, it's a natural thing. Human beings judge, whether you like it or you don't, and depending on what space you're in, you're going to judge other people regardless, because that's just human nature at the end of the day. And it's just sort of saying, you know, maybe be a little bit aware about what other people are going through, rather than just, you know, spout off, right? So I get that, but it doesn't mean that just because those people go through it doesn't mean that even if you have something to say or judge them about it in a certain way, doesn't mean you didn't go through it either. So maybe you do know what it's like. You know what I mean? And a lot of people will share the sentiment, and those who don't, introspect a little bit and maybe think a little bit more about what it's like for others. Fine, get it. I get the concept. Anyway, I love you all, man. Please stay safe, please stay healthy. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.